Hello and welcome to the Agency Scale to Success podcast, your guide to digital marketing growth, brought to you by Globital. My name is Leanne Rogers, Head of Marketing at Globital, and today we're talking about the ethical usage of AI in digital marketing, with special guest Lauren Petrullo from Mongoose Media.
In the data privacy space is you want to find out where is the data stored, how can you get the data removed, and what data of yours can they train their models on.
Running a digital agency can be tough without the right support in place. At Globital, we're committed to helping digital agencies scale with tailored resources, personable support, and proactive advice. For many agencies, the barrier to scaling lies in their capacity and not having enough time or resources to be able to grow further. As an exclusively white-label resource partner, Globital can take the stress and pressure off your agency with high-quality digital marketing service fulfillment, ready for you to deliver to your client. Book an obligation-free call with us today and see if it's the right fit for your agency. The link's in the show notes. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. As AI is becoming more ingrained in our workflows and everyday usage in the digital marketing space, and the initial novelty is wearing off, it's bringing up a lot more questions around that usage and where we draw the lines from an ethical standpoint for our agencies and also for our clients. How the LLMs may or may not be training aside, there's other risks that come into play from copyright issues, privacy breaches, and misinformation. But there's also the added element of authenticity and what steps we take as marketers to ensure we're doing best for our clients. So I'm very excited to have Lauren Petrullo joining us today, agency owner of Mongoose Media. They are a data-driven and design thinking digital agency based in Orlando. She is also the co-host of podcast Perpetual Traffic, which is very cool. She's known as a leader in digital innovation, and she's also been following quite closely with the changes that are happening in the AI world. So welcome, Lauren. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, for wherever you are in the world.
Everyone. Cool. So you use AI in your agency, as do we and many other agency owners in the digital space. It's here to stay, not going anywhere. Now, I really want to dive into that and some of the more ethical considerations. Now that we're past the point of getting into it and getting our toes wet in this world, what considerations we should be making as agency owners to protect ourselves and our clients as AI evolves, and how you navigate these as an agency owner yourself. So let's start with client data. That's a big one there.
Yeah.
So we all collect data. It's what we use to drive results for our clients and our own agencies. How we handle data with AI brings another layer to it. And I know that the APP, which is the Australian Privacy Principles, require clear communication on how data is used. Sure, it's similar in the US with the privacy policies around there. So how has that changed the way that you use client data and communicate that with clients when we consider things like privacy breaches and potential use of training for the AI?
Yeah, good question. So I live in the United States, and the large majority of our clients are in the United States, and we are in a litigious society. And AI use, just in general, a lot is done. When we're talking about data privacy, there's data privacy of what clients share with you. So I can tell you that there's been a huge increase of NDA signs that have to be done between agency and client relationships. That's definitely picked up over the last year and a half. But also if you're using, so data that's been provided to you, we have to have clear training for our team, because our team, we have AI services that we use that we pay for, but they're also using AI services that they're coming across. And that gets the hard part, like when you work in a remote society and they're using data and trying with a different app. So we have to do training in that. But another component is with a lot of customer data that we get from chatbots on websites. So we create a lot of AI assistants, and there are a lot of lawyers that are going after small businesses using chatbots that are saying that data that someone is talking, whether they're asking for a product recommendation or pricing information, because that can be viewed by someone else as akin to wiretapping. So even though you might not have a human that's monitoring it, if they have access to the data, that becomes something that we have to update in every single privacy policy. So in this space, We have our clients do NDAs. We do internal trainings with our team. And then most importantly, we advise all of our clients to get their privacy policies updated to talk about how, if there is information that's being shared, the way that you would before, if you were using foreign VAs, for example, there's GDPR in Europe. If you have a Filipino individual that has access to your email, there's specific laws that you have to give that disclosure for their location. Now, what we're just advising is that you update your privacy policies to assume that your agencies and third-party relationships and AI will have access to your data and may use that data to train how to better serve you as a customer. And it's like a very big, we tell the clients they have to do it. We can't assume responsibility if they don't. It's their website, their privacy policy. But I just don't want to exclude in that, like, the way that we communicate with our clients is that it's imperative that you update your privacy policy. Otherwise, you're making yourself open for exposures, because the FTC, which is an entity in the United States, is using AI to find those opportunities.
Okay, interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're very open about it. And like a small thing unrelated, just like if you take nothing else from this webinar, listening live or in the recording, if you have any services that have AI enabled on your website, you have a huge target on your back, because I know what prompts they're using to search the internet. So like in that kind of capacity, you have to protect yourself as well.
Yeah.
And the bigger thing with privacy breaches, like, you have to protect your team, and know that especially with Gen Z and Gen Alpha now entering the workforce, they're using AI models that you're not paying for. And when you have subscriptions and team models, you can control and understand where that data is going. But we have seen with other companies, they just have an intern that's using an AI solution on their phone and uploading the data because they're not on their work computer. We work in a remote environment, so it's not isolated to where they are. So that's just something we do as an agency. And then we try to advise our clients to be like, hey, heads up, give us an NDA. Are you NDA'd up? So
it's getting complex, isn't it?
sorry. I know it's like, I live in the US and it's hard because it's such an easy business that some law firms have gone after. And the last thing we want to do is disenfranchise our clients. And some of those things that they do after that are easy if you're an agency owner and you're not training your team, is you're opening the doors, because your data, like, I'll use an example. Hey Jen is one of the AI driven tools that we use. I have a perpetual traffic podcast. We have 250,000 downloads of unique downloads a month. That's 5 Fenway Parks. Okay. If someone uses Hey Jen like we do, where we do our YouTube channel in Spanish, if you don't have an enterprise account, Hey Jen in their privacy policy disclosure of the software that we use and pay for says, if you don't have an enterprise account, all of the data that you submit becomes trainable and accessible to their team. So something that you need to be aware of, it's not just your team that's potentially uploading it. It could be your software is putting you at risk. And so in that, like, a small thing of encouragement of like what we communicate with our clients is, you have to look at the different level of packages that you're investing in, because a lot of the AI tools, at least ones that we come across, and HeyGen specifically, I know because we talked extensively about this, the cheaper plans that allow you to test and play with may be cheaper because you're giving them access to everything that you have. And then you've surrendered all that data without your client's permission.
Which is huge. And we don't think about that. A lot of
no, it's not part of the conversation.
No.
I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, by the way.
No,
that needs
that's it. Just agency insights. So have you ever had a client that's concerned about their AI usage, and when you've had that conversation?
Oh yeah. We test a lot of different AI models, and I've seen the conversations of privacy, at least for our US based clients, is where is the data for the AI model being stored?
Yeah.
Right. So the chat came out in France. Obviously China has their big model. My team is global and diverse, and they want to test which model is best. But my clients are generally asking, okay, if you're using Midjourney, if you're using Runway, if you're using HeyGen, if you're using Opus, where is your data being stored? Less on the, if you're using it, they just want to know which companies disclose it so that their legal teams, because we work with companies that are as big as like $900 million of revenue a year. to some that are doing as small as like $1 million a year. So our bigger clients have the resources where they're going to go slower because they need to navigate if that will look bad for their parent portfolio. Is it a risk for a service that we use because the data is stored elsewhere? But it's not just necessarily an AI only. It can be like a CRM or an email service provider. But because AI is introducing so much new software applications, that's where those conversations are coming with my clients.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so using AI to assist with generating copy and copy blog content, social media, etc. Very common now. Everyone does it. And it can be highly optimized, grammatically correct, got everything in there, but it's really easy to slide into losing your unique voice and genuine creativity. And there's also the risk of generating those factual inaccuracies and bias. So what's your human override process for when using AI-generated content to catch those factual errors, tone inconsistencies, potential insensitive phrasing, all of those things? And to what extent do you rely on it?
Sure. So we have human intervention in anything related to AI. There's nothing that we have handed over that we provide to a client that is only AI driven. The places where we don't have intervention with AI is with like performance marketing and ad platforms. And those are algorithms that we can't control with Mark Zuckerberg. But anything content wise that we generate, there's always human interaction and there's a layer of QA. AI helps our copywriters never cramp up. But we have now a QA team that has to evaluate everything that comes forth and fact check because hallucination comes into play. A use case, if I can give an exact example, we developed an ebook for a client in the autism space. Conversation starters for friends and loved ones where there's a child with autism in their life. And so in that capacity, we wanted to help facilitate a conversation with the mom that sometimes her dad is uncomfortable, doesn't want to discuss this, but early intervention is a real thing. So we created this ebook. We did all this research. We designed it all and it looked amazing. It sounded great. And if we didn't bring in a separate human QAer that has nothing to do with the build, we would have failed completely in the market launch because AI generated content and research talked about the puzzle piece. So puzzle piece has been a symbol for autism for years, but it's a very divisive symbol now. And that would have alienated 50% of the people that wanted this. It's the infinity symbol, just so you know. But if we didn't have that and we had relied on like, oh, this looks good, everything was fact checked, even on the generative side, we missed current tone of voice. So we had to bring in a human separate for QA that was a subject matter expert on this just to vet it, to check it for us. So we have human intervention and we use AI as a tool, like a calculator to do faster math. But at the end of the day, we're still inputting the numbers. But human intervention maintains quality control and human intervention allows us to ensure that we have the unique tone of voice because there's so many ways that you will sound like everyone else. Those M dashes, those emojis. Oh my gosh. Do you want to be obvious that your AI have those M dashes? Oh, the worst.
Yes, I'm seeing that come up a lot at the moment.
And sometimes I'm like yelling at AI. I'm like, that is not what I wanted you to do. No more M. You're right. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to put another one in here.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, M dash. You're right, M dash. I'll stop, M dash. I didn't even know what that word was. Like, that should be the word of 2026 added to the dictionary because it's
those overused AI words.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many of them that used to come up that it seems to be everything now. So when it comes to using AI in our workflows, we use it like any other tool, like any other agency. It's included in it. But when we use it in our service deliverables, for example, like content creation or our assisted social media services, we're very transparent that it is, in fact, an AI-assisted service. And at what point do you disclose that you're using AI to your clients in your agency? You mentioned you've got a new privacy policy and you talk to them about it.
Yeah.
First, but
great question. So, Leanne, we actually have implemented into our onboarding process. We use AI. Everyone in our team uses AI. It's advantageous for us. We don't cut costs on labor, but we do cut costs on software. And that allows us to be better. And we pass on that cost savings to our clients. So they all know we use AI, but the way we try to disclose it even stronger is in our onboarding process. We literally do an exercise. It's called Jesse's Lasso. So I worked at Disney. We would do this. It helps us understand what's in scope, out of scope. So Jesse was the character in Toy Story and a lasso.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like lasso in some other places. But we say like, we are going to be using AI either intentionally or unintentionally, because we do a lot of performance marketing, and Google, but especially Meta, is introducing AI. And what their trend is to eliminate us from opting out of using AI. So we have, and we're going back to everyone that we haven't done this with in our Q3 planning, is we say, what is your risk tolerance? And we have to push the boundary. So with the Jesse Lasso exercise, if we were doing this in person, I'd have a rope and I have all these like actual cards. And the card says, creating an AI generated video using photos in scope or out of scope. If they say it's okay, it goes inside the lasso. If it's out, we don't do it. And so we ask, like, are you okay? Like, what's your threshold degree of separation of AI generated content for your brand? Because Meta, small thing, like if you're running Facebook ads, you get 5 text, like 5 primary text, 5 headlines, 5 descriptions. If you enable AI, you actually get to double the number of primary text and headlines that you can have on your ad, which potentially doubles the opportunity for a lower performance cost, like a greater ad efficiency and increased performance. Because Meta has a narrative they want to sell. AI performs better. And like they've released new stuff all the time. AI just launched a whole new update with Meta where on average you see a 12% lift when enabling Meta AI features. So if you're using generative AI inside Meta's ad platform, you have control to say yes or no or rewrite. So we say, are you comfortable if we have human override to approve Meta generated content? Yes or no. But then we also say, are you comfortable if we enable Meta to make up stuff? And some of the latest updates, like I think it was like May 19th, you can now do personalized brand tailored AI. So it's less generic. So you can have different avatars receive different ad copy. Again, you have the chance to do human override, or you'll have the chance to say, Meta, I trust you. Here's what I want you to know about my product and brand. Here's what I want you to know about the page. Have at it. So we ask them upfront in their onboarding process, what is their tolerance and threshold for AI? And too long, don't listen. Everyone's basically like, I'm down to test. And if it helps performance, I'm down to keep going. If it makes no impact to performance, it's just going to be considered testing and I want to be in the loop. But everyone else so far, like we see performance do better when we enable AI in many different situations, especially with Meta, that they're like, yep, permission granted.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it in our upfront process to tell our clients.
Yeah, cool. So while we're talking about Meta and the ad space there, let's jump into targeting, bias, things like that, segmentation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Big one there. So within that platform and your use of AI through their service, have you experienced much of their AI building, their platform there with proportionally targeting?
Yes. Well,
data?
okay. From the ad sets, the ways that we can see disproportionate targeting, you can go in and you can look at demographics. I'm gonna get super nerdy. If anyone has questions and you're live, like hit me with your hardest questions. I promise you, I feel really confident I'm in the top 0.5% of Meta folks in the world. So with targeting and stuff, you can go into demographic breakdowns and that you can see audiences that are pushed for better conversions. Now, CPMs might fluctuate. And if you're treating your Meta ads as if it's like a day trading dashboard, you're missing the point. But it's supposed to find opportunities that in the long run are going to be more efficient for you. Because I promise you, the Googles, the Amazons, the Facebooks of the world want you to succeed. They care more about you succeeding on their platforms than the founder does, because they're financially incentivized for you to do well. So and the audiences, what I see the algorithmic AI gives bias towards is generally speaking the older demographics. So if you have a product or service that has more success with a 20 to 35-year-old audience, things that you have to override then, which is only relatively new, is you can do with Advantage Plus audiences, which is the AI audience within Meta, which is also just going to become by end of the year, the automatic, and you're going to lose the ability to do targeting. You're able to do overrides where you can do value rules and say, I would like 20 or 30% of my budget going towards audience between 25 and 45. There's a very limited discretions you can give, but I will see that algorithmically, Meta tends to lean older, which is annoying. And then generative AI, my ads are always white people.
Yeah. Okay.
And so in that type of bias, it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
We do ads in Spanish and Chinese. We've done ads in Farsi, French, English, everything alike. And what I don't see right now is adaptations to localization of language. So we'll see, I live in Florida. I'm in the south of the United States. Do you know who also lives in Florida? Trump. You know who doesn't want to see Trump-like language? People in the north. I'm being very stereotypical, and this is not reflective of everyone, but we will see that softer language and like urban terms. I know that's not like politically correct the right way to say, but slang that's used in more densely populated areas is never showing up in our ad copy. So it's leaning right, political wise. It's leaning older, audience wise, and it's leaning white, photo wise.
Interesting. So how do you navigate around that? At the moment, there's the human override where you can get around it. What happens when, so they're talking about making it fully automated. If that becomes non-optional, how do we get around that as agencies?
So it's like, oh my gosh, the magic question. I'm really lucky. I have a close relationship with Meta. I actually went with 100 other business owners to DC a few weeks ago with Meta. We did an AI conference with the top executives at Meta, and then talking about partnering with Meta as small business owners, representing small business owners, working with them as a company and legislators to make sure that all three people are in the conversation. So I get to bring up, this is what I'm seeing. And I'm in a privileged place where Meta's like, we're listening. And I'm like, oh, I have to represent so many people. So in that capacity, there's like, this isn't the best answer, but at least in the US, you can advocate to your legislators and say, like, this is really important to me. I want to make sure that legally speaking, we are representing everyone in our advertising. Two, depending on your relationship with the different platforms, that's why, like, as an agency, some of the best advantages is when you're spending millions of dollars a month, you have better access to Meta. Or like with Globital, you guys have thousands of clients you're overseeing. So that combined strength allows you much better access to the companies to have impact and change. As it goes to like, we're not going to have control, what I perceive allegedly is possible.
I know it's a speculation at the moment. So.
And in that capacity is you can swing the algorithm favorably towards what you want based off of what you're posting organically, where you have control in what's on your website, because that's where it's going to take it from. You can look at shops and everything in the e-commerce space, and that's predictive of what's happening in lead gen and B2B. E-commerce campaigns will pull copy you wrote and photos you took. You have control in that capacity of what they're using to train algorithmically for yourself. So if you have only older white individuals on your entire website, your ads are only going to be older white individuals. So to that capacity, control what you can control, and you get to have influence in that capacity, in that way, shape, or form. Otherwise, be friends with people like me and Leanne.
Friends and high places.
Sorry, I think that it's like such a snotty answer to say, but it's hard. And if that's something that's like really important to you, I like really do encourage you to connect with legislators, because they're the ones that's changing the law. And I'm just, again, I know we're talking about like politics and lawyers, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a politician in any capacity. But they don't know what they don't know. And if you're unaware of what's happening, there's like massive sweeps that are affecting small business owners. I live in Florida. We are one of like 16 states where there are laws that make it harder for me to advertise to people in Florida and 15 other states. because personalization ads and that data access was legally changed. So if you're in the politics space, finance, or health and wellness, you have significantly hurt yourself. In Australia, where a lot of you are calling in from, you might have seen it for the health and wellness space. You've lost all ability to track down funnel metrics. That's specifically because of legislation that was passed that Meta is having to hold itself accountable for. So again, like, I'm not trying to be like, go lobby, do all these things, and just be informed. And if there's something that you know is coming or something that's important to you, you're empowered to connect to your lawmakers
Yeah, definitely.
based on where you are and the relationships you have.
Of course. Yeah, it's interesting. The whole, well, it's very much speculation, but you're not being able to opt out of some of these features and tools.
Yeah.
Have that non-optional thing going on. And
There's also the option, like, you don't have to participate on these platforms if you don't want,
That's
if you
true.
want to be like the organic ads is how I assume it's going to be, the vegan kind of ads where it's like you're not using full AI. Organic is going to be no AI. That's how I see ads are going to go. You're going to have networks that it's like no AI is allowed. And that's going to come up for sure because DeepFakes have been around since 2006. This isn't new. It's just becoming more commonly held. And UGC video reviews for e-commerce brands are pervasive. You have fake avatars advocating for products that this fake human could have never tried if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Because it's a computer generated image. So you're going to have these organic vegan marketplaces that you as business owner or an agency can advocate on behalf of your clients who don't want to be in those spaces. And they're popping up. The other component, like I can see, like, because of the relationship I have with Meta, what I know that they do and where they're going is there are watermarks on AI generated stuff. So the consumer, at least in the United States, the trend is going to go that they'll have the ability to know, was this created or influenced by AI?
Yeah.
Especially on the image side. So there's going to be a watermark that you're going to likely see on your ad. You can click to see how much of this was made with AI. And then the user can be like, oh, this is 100% AI generated image, that then they can make an informed decision. Now, will most people do that? Probably not. But again, that's going to be the declaration of transparency.
Yeah. Which is good. It's good to have that transparency layer there. Now, interesting you mentioned deepfakes and synthetic media there, because I did want to cover that as well. Yeah. So AI clones, voice simulators, fake videos, all of that. Big can of ethical nightmare implications for the client and the agency. So personally, the idea scares me, but others have jumped in wholeheartedly, gotten down to the trends and the tools and just run with it. So it's very wildly subjective. But where do you draw the line on creating and using that kind of content for you and your client or as an agency?
Amazing. Like, this is, again, my personal opinion. If someone does have a different one, like, fight me on this. Again, I use HeyGen. So I upload our videos and we translate our content into Spanish. They have permission to use my face for other stuff. Because when we initially signed up, we didn't have the enterprise package because it's 10 times more expensive. We didn't know. So this is why I'm telling you what I learned. Where I want them to remove that, like that, I have to advocate on that behalf. Where I personally believe ethically is if I am contributing content and using a tool, I could not use that tool or I could pay more. I think that's fair. But I believe that I should have the right to, if I'm no longer using the tool, to set an expiration of how long they can use that content for. I don't believe that should ever be done in perpetuity. I think of it's like renewing a lease. And I look at that like we've managed huge, like there's one of our past clients, Color Wow Hair, you know, they're doing like $40 million a year and they're doing their hair care products for them. And they had relationships with influencers that we were allowed to use their content in ads until December 31st of that year. Very clear, very negotiated of when we could use their likeness and being. However, the caveat was, is as long as I launched the ad before December 31st, I could use it in perpetuity unless I turn that ad off. Then I couldn't make any changes or revisions to it because then it was a created asset. I think the way that that is set up for influencers and creators and that type of ad should be the rule for if you're using a tool. And then similarly, you have the option to opt out and delete.
Yeah, definitely.
And brands aren't doing that. So I'm just like, it annoys me because they're like, it's too much trouble for them to have to go scrape all the stuff. And so like, I have not seen a brand that protects the image as well. Because at that point, they're like, anyone can do it. You can take a photo from Instagram, which is a public image, and I can make a video with you. You see that all the time. When I go to YouTube and they're like, oh, look, Bridgerton season 4 preview out. I'm like, what? Oh, dang
it. Not yet.
Right. So ethically wise, I really feel that there should be an expiration on that, and there should be a clean disavow option to it. But with the dark internet, right, with nefarious ways of doing it, there's no protection agency in place, which makes it hard. Hence why there's going to be like vegan or organic social media networks where you can't use filters, you can't use AI. How successful it'll be, I don't know, but it's coming.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to reading that fine print too, and making sure that you're aware.
Oh, we know none of us do that. No, everyone except terms of service upgrades. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you do, I'm impressed, but you have no time for anything else in life.
No, that's way too much. But yeah, making sure you're doing due diligence before you're actually jumping into these tools is a big factor there. And having those expiry dates is a really good option to put in with your clauses for your clients. So something to consider.
I would recommend that if you're an agency listening to this and you don't have like a partner like Globital that's already doing this and you're looking at different tools, when you're evaluating them, before you take them on as a team, again, just in the data privacy space, is you want to find out where is the data stored, how can you get the data removed, and what data of yours can they train their models on. Those are like the 3 most important questions you need to ask of all the new software that you're employing, because if you don't, you will just open yourself and your clients up to liability. And I've seen another client that uploaded information into a public AI tool. I won't say which one or who it was, but they uploaded all their customer data, and then it was easy for someone else to find examples. Like, it's not hard to go backwards. I'm not like, you're listening to this thing like, oh, I'm going to look at my competitors. You can go into AI software and just be like, hey, I want to know, like, who are Marine's clients? There's stuff that you can do to get into it. Like, if they have an AI chatbot or something on that site, there's ways that you can do it. I'm not advocating for it whatsoever. I'm just saying, if you don't ask those 3 questions, you're opening yourself up way too hard.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Very good questions to have in your checklist for onboarding tools, for your AI tools that you're trying to implement into business. Any other must-haves from your point of view when updating your AI usage policy, your privacy policies? May not have one yet.
Fair. I know a few people have joined in since we started. Like, one thing I would just say is you need to audit your site. If you're using the terms AI enabled before anything, you're opening yourself up extremely to legislative violence. And so in that capacity, like, if you're using AI, that's fine. But if you're selling a service that's AI enabled, that would just be something. Look out for your clients that are using this. Look out if you are using this. Those 2 terms are just like a big come sue me target. That's just like the biggest thing I want to reinforce. Again, not a lawyer, not legal advice.
Just agency wisdom.
Yes.
Awesome. Has anybody got any questions about what we've covered today or spoken about? We've gone through a few topics now.
I'm also happy to, if people are interested, can explain some of the updates with Meta AI that are exciting in a more positive framework, because that's like the fun side of AI, not the scary side.
It's not all scary. So we've got one. Is it possible for you to share links to legal references?
Oh my gosh. I can't give you all the legal references, but I can share a tool that we use. For membership, I get no benefit or affiliate in any capacity, but there's FTC Guardian. There's a team of lawyers that they present what's happening. They do 2 presentations a month, and it's just every other week they're talking about new cases with AI and new things that you need to be aware of, which has empowered me and my clients tremendously. So it's ftcguardian.com. So that was just a Federal Trade Commission. They're a resource that I really like. And then we use Blank Rome. This is the legal team that we've looked at that I believe is on the affordable cutting edge of ensuring that you and your clients are protected from AI stuff, because they're the ones that told me about the wiretapping and how if you have a chatbot and stuff, that's a very strong position for someone to come after you. So I'm not a lawyer, not legal advice, but those are some of the resources that I have found helpful. But yeah, it's hard, but there are fun things that are coming in, like performance wise, like the benefit is like we are seeing better numbers. We're in a recession. A lot of other agencies and other brands are struggling to get the high level of performance that they're used to. It's like 2015 was amazing. You could just spit money and Facebook made you successful. And then it got harder and harder and harder. But honestly, I think like we're in the dawn of it's finally getting easier. Again, with Meta AI, and something brand new is Meta, they just updated video generation 2.0.
Okay.
So video generation 2.0 means that if you have a client, and again, I'm biased towards paid marketing. That's what most of what we do is. If you're running paid ads on Meta and it's hard to get video content from your clients, we know this. It's almost
Very
impossible
hard.
to get video content from your clients. They might
Doesn't
have really
happen.
good photos. Go ahead.
Doesn't happen. Photos are hard.
No,
Imagery, anything.
like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
But maybe you'll get photos, or they're not good, but you can use AI to enhance the photos. The demo that they have was with a jewelry brand, and you can put 4 photos together, and then Meta will create an ad, a video from those 4 photos. And it's not like a carousel or collage and putting some text overlay where it looks like a very junior person checking out Canva for the first time. Based on the quality of the photos, you can have a high quality ad that you might pay $15,000 to $20,000 for. And so that I think is going to be massive. And the agencies and the media buyers and the teams that take advantage of new AI rollouts from software companies like Meta, you're going to get performance increases, because you have to remember when they release these things, they want to show that the narrative that you get better performance when you use AI. So what do? When you're an early adopter, you end up getting a lot more impressions that you don't have to pay for, because they're trying to push it and serve that fits that narrative. So this video generation 2.0, huge, 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 huge. Secondly, the thing about, like, I can't emphasize more, the ability to have tailored AI generated comments in Facebook by avatar. So if you're an agency owner for Globital that has 200 clients versus like, it's like a burnt out agency owner that's ready to like burn all of Rome, right? Or you have the agency owner that's ambitious and just acquired another company. They're different profiles, different personalities. So now you can have AI to speak to them as an avatar, which you couldn't do before, and definitely couldn't be cost efficient with it. So this is very exciting of what's new.
We just had another question drop in. So
Yeah.
3 questions to ask service providers. What would the 3?
Yeah. So the 3 we said earlier was, where is the data stored? How can you get the data removed? And what data of yours can they train their models on? Like, we have a software evaluation sheet. So this is just like something that we do in our company. It's a Google sheet. It's nothing fancy, but essentially, like, we say the software, and then we do the pros and cons. And then we say there's one person who's in charge of evaluating software. So again, we use HeyGen. I've used that 3 times. I don't have an affiliate link, or maybe I do. It doesn't matter. Keep you a few dollars. It's GEN, generative. We used Latte AI. We used several other tools before we did it. So everyone had to advocate, and we do like an employee debate kind of thing. And then when we decide what tool we're going to use, we have to put all the pros and we have to put the cons. I firmly believe no one on my team knows the software until they can tell me all the reasons they hate that software.
Yeah.
Leanne, tell me I'm not wrong. Every software
you are not wrong. Absolutely
has
not
things that
wrong.
you hate about, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need you to
Everyone
tell
can
me
agree with that one.
100%. Tell me, like, what's the software you know, like, man, ClickUp is amazing. I just wish they would do this. Then you know ClickUp very well. So when we do the tech evaluation, we put the pros and cons, because when we choose the software, change management's huge. So we have to say, like, if we're going to change software, if we're going to change from HeyGen, we need it to be financially significant for us to make the move, or it needs to solve at least 2 of our cons. If it can't solve at least 2 of the cons, I'm not switching.
Yeah.
It's not worth the time
It's
and the
same
labor.
in your software. They're not just
Yeah.
We do that with our software too when we're looking at switching.
Because when you make a commitment for a full team, you're committed, and it's 2 to 3 years before you're going to change again.
What can it do?
So we
What's
have in
what
that
else
sheet
to
those
place as well.
Yeah.
Can it replace multiple other softwares that you've got? Can it do these things?
Yeah. Oh, and like I would say a fourth question, by the way, this is like I don't know, like a ninja tip that we really like is we tell them we are looking at you against Jasper. We are looking at you against Surfer. We're looking at you against Meta. We're looking at you against Dots. Tell me in our sales call why you're better. And I get them to trash, right? So let's say like, I'm like, Surfer, Jasper, round 1, fight, right? I'm like, Jasper, I'm going to use Surfer. Why should I not use it? Then they tell me all the reasons that their software is better. Then I immediately go to Surfer. I'm like, okay, Surfer, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And then you allow them to form which one should be the best because it takes too long to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
Right. That's my like software evaluation. I let them fight each other.
It's
because
good.
they know it better than I will.
They can do it. Yep, that's it.
Also, you can sometimes get like a cheaper price.
There you go.
Just saying. HubSpot does it a lot.
There you go. Good tip. Awesome. What's your preferred AI for capturing meetings, video transcriptions?
My AI is a Fathom. So that's what I have. You don't have to pay for Fathom. It's free, but I pay the $20 because I have my assistant go in and they can ask questions. So she wasn't on this meeting. So she can go in and ask questions. Hey, what did Lauren mean when she said this? So that's a piece that I really like. And it allows you to send those notes to everyone else. And so if you don't have a lot of AI enthusiastic people, when they get the notes, they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. But Google announced 2 weeks ago that they have in Google Meets, we use Google Meets, they're introducing something that should essentially eliminate Fathom, but Fathom is free. So for video transcriptions, it depends on the length and what you want to use those video transcriptions for. I really like Opus Clip because then you can like change the words. I can say like one small thing, like AI is great, but usually it's used just as like an idea brainstorming or doing generative creative AI. We use AI with webhooks. So I have ChatGPT. I pay for ChatGPT. I pay for API ChatGPT. And then I have Make, formerly known as Integromat. That's my webhook. You can use Pabbly, you can use Zapier or anything like that. What I do is when I am walking my dog, I do voice. If you go into ChatGPT on the app on your phone, you have the ability to click on the voice icon and I can talk to ChatGPT. He's my assistant. When I'm walking the dog, I'm in a 15-minute phone call with ChatGPT and we're going back and forth. And then what happens at the end of it, like he's looking at my calendar, he's asking me my hard questions from the day before. He then sends into Slack to my project manager all the things that are high priority for me. So he prioritizes my day. It's like I have my first 15 minutes and I just like word vomit. And then he challenges me on like, what was on my calendar yesterday? What did I miss? Did we get this action item? So then from my conversation while walking the dog with AirPods on, dialogue back and forth, he then actions to Slack, the project manager, and he actions to click up our project management tool and my assistant. So they all know what's top of mind for me without them having to listen to me word vomit because sometimes I'm not the nicest person. So I'm like, oh, it's
Brutal.
be rude to chat. I don't want to be rude to my team, but that is possible because I use a webhook that then inserts that information, summarizes what I said, and then sends it out in a politer way to my team so that they know it's a priority. So there's ways that you can use AI to the next level that I think most people neglect.
That's good. It's really good use. I don't think a lot of people get past that initial play around to dive deep.
Fair. I did it for emails too, where ChatGPT, I stopped checking my inbox of what I need to read, and I would just check the drafts box for what ChatGPT already replied. So I'm not reading and solving, I'm reviewing and confirming.
Yeah.
So I have emails that come from like important people that ChatGPT reads the email threads, creates a drafted reply, puts it into draft. It doesn't send any emails on my behalf. And I can look at drafts and say, yes, yes, yes. Oh, wait a second. Nope. Yes. So there's things like that that are really great use cases. Once you get past some of the like generative AI stuff, but Google also said that they're working on that. You can see some AI prompted replies. But I have it like a hierarchy because I like if there's a client email or someone that's really important, I want to make sure that that gets answered within 48 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. I think we'll wrap that up there. Thank you so much, Lauren, for joining us. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank-
Lots of information there and really, really good chat.
I'm obsessed with what Globital has done. They've helped my company. I have used them extensively as an agency. Like, I'm obsessed with everyone, even though you guys are down under. That's the worst part because I wish you
Just
guys
too
were
far away.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, thank you so much, Lauren. It's been a blast and yeah, really good chat. That's it for today's episode. If you'd like to connect with Lauren or request a free GEO consultation with Globital, see the show notes for more details. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review so it makes it easier for others to find us too. Until next time.